Hello, my name is Takuka Bender, and today I'm going to be walking you through a task um, that I just completed using Java. And so I have three tasks here, task one, task two, task three. Um, and today I'll be walking you through task two, which is to build a mini library management system that's going to be OOP based. So the objective is to create a mini library app using object-oriented programming Java. So this is a Java internship program, a 1 month internship program that uh, I was enrolled into. And I'm going to take you through the code right now. Okay, so here's the structure of my code file. So I was asked to use OOP based. And so this solution was structured into um, the two classes. So the first class is book and the other class is library. So we'll start with the book class first. And I will just move to the book class to open it. Yeah, so here's the book class. So um, I have my data fields. So you can see the following data fields for this class. We have the ID of the book, the title of the book, the author of the book, and whether the book is available. So those are the four data fields for the book class. And we have the constructor method that takes in the four data fields um, as a parameter. And this keyword to refer to um, those data fields or those variables. And then we have our get um, methods for the data fields. So we have get ID, get title, get author, and is available. So these are all getter method, and then um, there's one set method that is for modifying whether it's actually available or not. Okay. So then we have our toString method we created, and for the purpose of writing the data to a file. Okay. So that's about the book class. Move on to our library class. So our library class, we have um, Java utility. We imported Java input and output as well. And then all of the methods within those packages. So we have our class library, and then um, we have a books as a array. So we have our array as books. Currently, there's nothing assigned them, and but it's created particularly for storing our books, right? And then we have our library constructor method that um, takes in a parameter called books, assigning an empty array to these books. Okay, so now the next thing we have here is that we have our add books. We have our add books method. So for adding books, we we have our parameter called books, right? And then this parameter books, it's from our previous class books. Okay. And next we have book the add method. So we have to get the add method, and then we pass in books. Okay. So that's for book. That's for add book. And then we have the view books. So for view books, we have our loop, a for loop that iterates through the entire array. Okay. So, and then after iterating through the entire array, it prints out books. All right. And then we have issue books. So for issue books, so issue book, it takes in a single parameter called ID, and then we have our exception handler. So we throw an exception, and that exception particularly is for checking first, okay, whether the ID is equivalent to the ID that we are looking for, and whether it's available, whether the books are available. Okay, so if that's the case, then we should set the available to false and issue the book. All right. So, but if that's not the case, then the else block is being printed, system that other print, that book is not available. All right, so that's for the issue book. And then for the return book method, so we have our class, and the class called return that takes in an ID. And so we have a loop, or for loops. And so for the for loop, we have so the book, the ID, the get method. And then the get method is equals to, if the get ID is equivalent to the ID and the book is not available, then it means that we should set available to true, okay, and print out book has been returned. So, but if that's not the case, then this portion of the method print out invalid return book, it's not issued or not found. Then we have our save book. So our save book method also takes in book as a parameter, and it throws an exception. And what's the exception? The exception is a file writer. So the file writer creates an instance of the object, file writer, and it takes in what? It takes in the parameter, the file name called issuebook.txt. Okay, so, and then it takes another argument called append, that is to append the book to the other books, all right, to save book. So after creating the instance of this object, then we write the book to string, all right, using the toString method, and then close that as well. So that's about the library. So we have our save book method, our return book method, we have our issue book, we have our view book, we have the add books, all right? So that's library, and that's book. So then the next one is the main class, where the program starts to execute from. So we have our main class. First we input Java, the util, and then we have our main class, in our main class, we have our main method, and we have our scanner class for importing, and we have an instance of our library class that was created. So it's called lib equals to new library. And so after that, we are going to do a test or a conditional while loop. And so we have a while true. If you print out the following statement, that is to add book, view all books, issue book, return book, and then to exit. All right. So now after that, while true, we have a try block to execute the following cases, switch cases. So we have int the choice is equals to our SC, which is our scanner class, sc dot next int. And so then we have switch. And the switch, we have choice. All right. And so within the choice, within the switch block, we have the following cases. The first case, case one. And this case particular is for adding, all right, adding books to library. So in case one, we have system other print line. We enter ID, we enter title, and all of that. All right, that's for case one. And then the second case we have is the view library. All right, so we just called a library.view books, which were created in this library class. And then we have the case three. Case three is about issuing books. All right. So we have to enter the ID of the book first. And so and then issue books. All right. That's what this case is about. And then case four is about returning books. So enter the ID to return, almost the same to issuing books. And then we have case five is for exiting the program. So we have that. And then the default of the case is invalid choice. That is if we inputted anything other than 1 to 5. So then after the try block, we have our catch block to catch any invalid inputs. All right. So that's about the main file. And I'm going to execute this program from the main file so we see the how it's been executed. Okay. So there's what we have for our program. So I'm just going to take this aside. So if you look at our program, we have add book, we have view all books, issue book, return book, exit. So we have to choose one option. So the first option is add book. So I'll click on add one and enter. So it asks me enter the ID. So I say 100 as our ID. Enter the title. So the title is that's the title. The author. Yeah. So I've just added um a book, and as you can see here, that it has been added successfully. Okay. So now, what do we do next? Next, do we have VBooks? So enter VBooks. Yeah. So in VBooks, you're able to see the title, the ID, and the G and the author. Okay. So that's about that. And so issue books. So I see the ID to issue book. So the ID is 100. So if I click on it, it has been issued. Yeah. So return book. So return, enter the ID 100, and it has been returned. So book return. View. Yeah, it's still there available, and then 5 to exit. So exiting the program. So that's about this program. Thank you so much for following me today, and look forward to doing more projects, more Java projects, and watch out for the next tasks that I'm going to be doing with student management. And it's such a great exposure and experience working with Java.